Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I believe it's recording. So, hello everybody. This is Carl Wagner from BeatCancer, and I have with me my guest, Janice Amirault. She is a registered holistic nutritional consultant and a holistic cancer coach with BeatCancer. Well, that's a misnomer. She's a holistic cancer coach on her own because everybody works independently. But yeah, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about what she does and why. And I'll ask some questions intermittently. But if this is your first time to the channel, please like and subscribe, help our algorithm with YouTube. They won't help us unless you help us. And check out our website at BeatCancer.Org. And all the links will be in the write-up below. Okay, Janice, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to be with you today. I'm so happy to take part in your interviewing process. And like Carl said, my name is Janice Amirault, and actually I interviewed Carl a few weeks ago for my Facebook Live series, Inspiring Change 2021. So the name of my business is Janice Inspiring Change Holistic Nutrition. And like Carl said, I am a holistic nutritional consultant and a holistic cancer coach. I've been in business for about 5 years, and I was living in Qatar for the last 14 years and have finally moved back to Canada. So I'm in Canada now and I'm practicing here. And my business is about, well, I do my I offer two different modalities. I offer my clients holistic, my cancer clients holistic cancer approach to becoming well, and then I have clients who are looking for help with some nutritional help for a variety of illnesses or diseases like autoimmune, hormonal imbalances, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, those types of things. Lately, though, I have been kind of focusing on one aspect, and I'll just say a little bit about this, and focusing more on sugar addiction, because I think that the root cause to a lot of our problems, whether it be cancer or any other health condition, is because of our sugar addiction. So I was in that situation with sugar addiction. And so I know firsthand what it's like, and I managed to beat it. And so that's where I'm putting most of my focus and energy is into helping people beat sugar addiction.
Yeah, there's definitely a sugar correlation to cancer as well. I mean, that's one of the first things that I learned at BeatCancer was that the PET scans that they do it's irradiated sugar, and that's how they find the tumors, is that the tumor attracts to sugar and consumes it. So it literally feeds the cancer, and it is pretty insidious. It's in everything. Sugar is in everything, and or carbohydrates that simply turn into sugars very, very easily. Yeah, I think it's a big thing that people need to know about. Yeah, that's great.
A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't eat sugar," because they gave up white sugar. But they don't realize that the honey they're pouring on their cereal, the maple syrup they're putting in their smoothie, the salad dressings they're purchasing from the store, anything in a restaurant or in a box or in a package has added sugar in it. And it's even worse than just white sugar, because there's high fructose corn syrup, which is worse than regular sugar. And so it's really misleading, because a lot of people, like I said, think they don't eat any sugar. When you start to probe and ask, though, then you discover that they eat a lot more sugar than they thought they did.
Yeah, everybody thinks they have a good diet. It's funny.
Not the truth. Yes. Yeah.
So tell us, why did you get started in your health journey? I think that's interesting.
So that's, yeah, a bit of a long story, but I ended up, I was overweight all for a good part of my life, and I was always dieting, and but then one summer I became very, very fatigued, and I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't a lazy person. I worked full time. I had dogs I walked, I did some exercise, I ran my house, all those things. And I was so fatigued. I knew it wasn't normal. And when I was teaching, so in the fall, I just couldn't teach because I taught hairdressing, and I couldn't keep my arms up over my head long enough to show my students how to cut hair. So I had to take a step back and try to figure out what was wrong with me. And I got, the door slammed shut in my face from the medical system. Saw a specialist. She said, Janice is lazy and just needs to exercise. And so something sparked me to explore what was really going on with me. I wasn't going to settle for the results of that assessment. I wasn't able to live my life the way I wanted to, and I had a feeling deep down inside that if I didn't do something, I'd be in a wheelchair right now. So I sought a practitioner who had a holistic approach, and that got me started on my journey back to health. And of course, I had to change my diet, and that's what basically got me started on this path of wellness. And for at that time, while I was going through those years of getting myself back to normal, because the practitioner found out what was wrong with me, and it was easy to see, according to him. But the journey back to health wasn't so easy for me. But I was motivated to do it. And while I was going through that, I lost both my parents to cancer. So that both of those experiences in my life made me push forward with knowing that I had to learn more. I had to figure out what was going on and how to stop that from happening first to me, and then I just decided that I just had to help other people.
Mm, mm. Yeah. I remember we talked a little bit about that when you interviewed me. It's just,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think almost everybody in our field has been touched, so either directly themselves or somebody very, very close to them, and it was a big motivator and just changed the trajectory of their life. Easy for you to
absolutely.
say.
Yeah, can be done, and that's the hope. That's the amazing, miraculous body. It can be done, and we just need to follow the right path.
Yeah, yeah. And I there's following the right path, and there's also getting off the wrong path,
Well,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's, I
right.
mean,
It's
people
two
are,
worlds.
yeah, people
Yeah,
don't realize that they're just on the wrong path, and even if they just slowed down or stopped some things completely,
yeah.
that would be healthy in itself, and then change to the other side.
That's right. That's right. And in taking away certain things, not necessarily just food, but habits,
Mhm.
we tend to replace them with something good. And
Yeah,
so that's how it happens. Just, crowd out. I think it's Dr. Hyman that says, crowd out the bad stuff, you know, and replace it with good stuff. Add in the good stuff, you'll crowd out the bad stuff. Yeah.
right. And it becomes a habit or a way of being. I mean, it's hard, I think, in the beginning for anybody to make change, and but little by little,
Yeah. And when you
and
see results, it did for me, it motivated me to keep going, because I thought, my goodness, in just this little short bit of time, look what I've been able to do. Imagine in a year from now if I keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
right, right. And I think I don't know where I read it, but uh, it seems that I've read every cell in your body is replaced every 7 years. So
Yeah,
that's an amazing thought, to think that 7 years from now I can be a completely whole new person.
that's right. That's right.
And I would imagine putting good practice to work and becoming yeah, I hate to say it, but I went to a reunion and I'm like, who are all these old people that are out of shape? Oh, that's me too. I'm an old person, but I'm not so out of shape. So,
Mhm.
what was it that attracted you to Beat Cancer
Mhm.
and becoming a coach?
Well, like I said, I went through the loss of both my parents, and I saw very clearly at that time, having gone through a little bit of what I went through, and then seeing my parents, it was very obvious to me that there could have been another, there could have been an alternate for them, an alternative for them. It was lifestyle, that was, the issue with both of them. And at that time, I wasn't a holistic nutritional consultant, but as I went through my studies, I wanted well, let me back up. As I was going through my studies, I myself faced cancer.
Hmm.
So, so I thought, okay, this is okay. I know what to do. I am going to jump in with 2 feet, and I am going to beat this. And I did. And I really didn't say very much to anyone. I was living in Qatar at the time, so I was able to be very private about it. And I don't talk about it very much even today. But once I did that and I realized what was possible, that's why I wanted to have some type of certification that would allow me to help people who have cancer, people like my parents, people like me, who have don't know that there's an option, don't know there's a choice. They hear the word and they basically are given a death sentence, or they think it's a death sentence, and that results in just that. So I looked for a program that would allow me because I had my nutrition training already. I thought it'd be a great to take a program like this. So I went online and I looked for a program, and I found Beat Cancer.
Hmm.
So it was perfect for me. I was able to do it online, which was great because I was in Qatar, and it complemented what I already knew, and things that I was already doing for myself, but it just tied everything together for me. So I was able to complete the program and then add that as a service offering to my clients.
And in the beginning, the intention of the course was for people like you that had a practice.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we've branched out as time went on, and mostly because of demand.
Hmm. Hmm.
People just wanted to be part of it. They didn't want to have to be a medical person to get that knowledge. And
Yeah.
um, yeah.
And I think too, Carl, I must say that someone who doesn't have my background, I know because I've connected with some people in who are coaches, and I met some of them, like I met you in California, and when we went to the conference, um, everyone comes with a different background. And if someone like myself who has a nutrition background, and I have a client in front of me who I think might benefit from services of a Reiki practitioner or someone who does acupuncture to help them with the whole package, um, then I know that there's people out there that can do it. So someone who doesn't have a medical background can become a coach, of course, because then as long as they through the process they are providing information to the client, to help them deal with the mind, body, spirit, however that looks. And for me, I don't need to look for someone to support them with their nutritional concerns, because I can do that. But I might need to reach out to someone else to offer something else that I don't provide.
Yeah, we have a wonderful community of
Yeah,
coaches. Yeah,
yeah,
and we have the Facebook group. I think is great. It's a great place to network and
yeah,
ask questions of each other and raise the bar of education.
yeah.
I see people post books that they're reading and
Mhm.
or courses that they're taking and suggesting to go on this conference or that conference. And
Yeah.
it's a great community. That was a surprising thing that we started that just took off.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really great to have that platform to, go back and forth and ask questions and see what other people are doing. Maybe there's a webinar someone's offering. It's really quite nice that we have that. I feel very fortunate.
yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
was a happy accident.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So what aspect of the course uh, surprised you? I was going to ask you what your favorite was, but I think surprise, baby.
What surprised me? Well, I guess I would say that in my mind, and knowing what I had known, I had this sense that cancer or illness or disease wasn't just, you know, the problem. And I learned a little bit about that through my own journey when I came back from quote unquote chronic fatigue that I was diagnosed with. And so I was maybe pleasant, surprised maybe isn't the right word, but very, very happy to see that the Susan, the founder, spoke a lot about the psycho-spiritual connection to illness and disease. And to me, the weight of that in the body, in the person's wellness, healings, I'm not supposed to use that word, but in their ability to regain their lives, to rebalance the body, the weight that the mind plays, and the emotional connections to illness and disease was just what I wanted to explore more. And so I was really happy to see that as part of the program, because there's talk about food and what food is best for a diet for cancer. But I was really pleasantly surprised to see how much of that, what I wanted to learn, was exactly right there. Yeah.
You attracted it to yourself.
Oh, the timing was perfect for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Nothing, we're put exactly where we need to be every step of the way. Yeah.
Even when you don't like it.
Even when you don't like it.
Yeah.
Those are the times where it's hard to really say, why is this happening? But that's one of the questions we have to ask. When we're not doing well or not feeling well, or we're faced with something, is why do I have this right now? What's going on? And unfortunately, we are brought up not to question little things. And when I say little things, they're not little, but our society today has made them small. And the example I'll use is high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So many people are medicated for that. It's common. It's not normal to have that problem, but it's common. So what happens is people don't pay attention to why that's happening. They look at, well, it's something that I can medicate myself for, and I can just continue living. That's a sign that something's wrong. And so if you don't really deal with that, as time goes on, there'll be another one and another one and another one. And sometimes the next one is more serious. And then it could be more challenging to come back from. So I think it's really important to pay attention to those small little signs, excess weight, headaches all the time, itchy skin, psoriasis, instead of putting cream on that, find out where the root cause of those problems are and deal with them, because I believe that it's like a prevention. It's prevention. And you don't know what's going to happen down the road. If you change what you're doing, you don't know what could have happened. But to me, it's worth practicing prevention in order to avert the unknown. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody buys insurance for that unknown, but prevention is so hard to sell.
Yeah.
People would rather take a pill.
Take it.
They
Yeah.
and it's even worse than that. I turned a certain age. When I turned a certain age, I forget what age that was. Was it 40 maybe? Because I'm 50, almost 55 now. The doctor said, you need to go on cholesterol and high blood pressure medicine, even though I didn't have a problem. It was just they wanted to put me on the minimum dose
Mm-hmm.
because I was that age. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of crazy.
It
Yeah.
is. It's unfortunate that that's what we're faced with today. And sadly, because of, I think, marketing, we accept that as the norm because everybody's got it. It's normal. Everybody's got it. Or worse, the belief that there's nothing that can be done.
Mm.
It's hereditary. There's nothing that can be done. It's my fate. I might as well just live my life and enjoy it.
Yeah, and a lot of that is a myth too, especially with the hereditary. That your way of dealing with problems, the way you eat, that's hereditary because you were taught
That's
that.
right. That's
You
right.
know, but you don't have to. It's just it's kind of like blaming all your problems on your parents when you're an adult.
Yes.
Now you have a
Yes.
choice, right?
That's right.
That time's over. Now you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and we have a choice. We have a choice. What we make a choice every single day. We can choose to stay unhealthy, or we can take steps to change that. And that's what I did, the first time and then the second time, because I I had the choice, and I knew I had a choice, and I thought I can stay like this and just get spiral down, or I can get motivated, get organized, and spiral up. And that's what I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've met you in person, and it's hard for me to believe that you were at one time overweight. I mean, you're far far from that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
Yeah, you're very, very healthy.
thanks. Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I, I have worked very hard to do that. Today, though, it's just a normal way of living. But I abused my body for so long, and it's no wonder I was facing the things that I was facing.
right.
And because I had the wherewithal, some maybe it's stubbornness, I don't know, to say I'm not accepting this. I'm not going to do this. And I kind of a little bit understood, how food can affect you. I was always dieting, so I knew that if I ate more vegetables, I would lose more weight and feel better. So I had that going for me. But when you start to, not eat sugar, not eat gluten, not eat all these crappy carbs and all of that, you're looked at like you're, the weirdo from down the street. And I still get that today. I still get, oh, yeah, she doesn't eat that, and she doesn't eat this. And so can you imagine not having any sugar? I would die without it, people say. But anyway, I just went for it. and I'm living proof that it can be done.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm maybe an optimist, but uh, I was hoping that I would see it in my lifetime, and I might not. Uh, a paradigm shift in the way people think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did this with smoking, right? It was advertised as healthy in the beginning, and doctors endorsed it, and all this stuff. And I don't know what year it was, but um, all of a sudden people realized, no, that's not healthy at all. So if you smoke, it's definitely a choice, and the ramifications. But it's so bad now that, or it's bad for smokers. It's to the point now where um, if you're smoking too close to an entrance of Starbucks, they're throwing empty cups at you. Hey, 25 feet, buddy. You know,
Oh wow.
uh, and
Yeah.
kids know. So they're indoctrinated from an early age to understand that smoking's not good for you, and a host of other things. But I would like kids to be like, hey, why are you taking McDonald's? Do you hate me?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
If they were taught this from an early age, then by the time they get to be adults, they could change policy and public opinion, um, because there would be enough of them to fight for it.
That starts at home though, Carl. And we have, I think parents have an obligation to set those practices in place. And anyone who's eating healthy or starts to think that they are, they're bringing in more healthy food into the house, they're getting out and exercising, those children are learning better at school, they're sleeping better at night, they're not as disruptive, they are healthier, happier children, the ones who are getting good food and exercise, and have parents that are looking out for them. But we have so many who are not doing that. And just with being overweight, I remember reading this report that said that children of overweight parents have an 80% greater chance of being overweight themselves than children whose parents are average size. And it makes perfect sense because they learn the lifestyle habits of their tribe. So that's, like you were saying, that's a heredity in itself. It's a lifestyle they've inherited, and so that's how they're going to grow up. So that's a pretty sad fact, but it's really good that if you can make a few changes, you can change that. And I think parents have that. It's all in the hands of the parents, but they need some education because a lot of them are not doing it right themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I read, is it my generation or my children's generation? That's the first generation where the kids might not outlast the parents.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's sad too. It's an amazing thing to think. And back on the cancer subject, these kids are getting cancer
Hmm.
that used to be reserved only for old people.
Yeah.
They're getting
Yeah.
the very same cancers
Hmm.
now, I attribute that all to lifestyle.
Hmm.
Yeah, you read something here that said science has proven that. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Science has proven that 90% of illness and disease can be eliminated through environmental lifestyle choices. And that's part of our uh, mission statement
Hmm.
as well. And uh, I know you have science that backs that up, and we cite a specific report, but it's widely known in the cancer community, even the conventional cancer community, that only 5 to 10% of all cancers come from your genes, and the rest is largely under your control. I
That's
mean, there's
right.
the environmental things that are out of your control. Maybe you can move or whatever, or change your job, or that might be harder, but the
But
rest is.
if it's environmental, it is maybe more challenging. But if your body is healthy, your body can detox, and naturally it will take care. It can take care of a large amount of environmental attacks. So if your body's not healthy and you live in a place that has bad water, or there's a lot of EMFs in the air or whatever is going on, or smog from factories, and residue, then if your body's not healthy, you won't fight that off. But if your body is working well, when those come in, it can support you and not affect you like it might someone else.
Yeah, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of times the weakest link is you.
Yes. Yes. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
So let me just look at some of the questions I have here. Um, why don't you share a story of healing? One of the people that you were working with, maybe, or two, um, that had changed their lifestyle and what happened with them, where they came from, where they ended up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um,
Were you
well,
not prepared for that one?
no, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Um, the thing, the first one that comes to mind, and it isn't a cancer, it isn't a cancer story,
That's
but
okay.
I think it makes a big impact because the person had a young person, probably 10 10 or 15 years younger than me, had was facing rheumatoid arthritis, and her family, someone in her one of her parents had rheumatoid arthritis, and was their mobility was really bad, and all of a sudden she was facing this problem, and was on medication for it, and was really struggling to feel well, and at the first signs, but she was looking for, the reason she came to me was because she was told that she should really prepare to be in a wheelchair at age whatever, and that her life was not going to be good from here on in. So it was just, she was just going to get progressively worse. There was nothing that could be done. So she came to me, and we chatted, and of course I asked for a food diary, and then I said, this is what I think that you can do to change this. So she went, and she did exactly what I asked her to do, and a few months later, of course, the symptoms that she had were completely gone. A few months later, she went to her doctor for the usual checkup, and she said, "This is what I've been doing. My pain is gone." I think she had weaned herself off of her medication. I certainly didn't suggest that. I can't really remember how that all worked with her medication, but the doctor said, "It can't be your diet that has changed this. You're going to have this for life. You're going to have to take this medication for life. That's the end of the story." So that was, to me, she was just so amazed at how food, and she thought she was eating well. She wrote a testimony for me. She thought she was eating well too, like you said earlier. But and it wasn't a bad diet. It just wasn't the diet that was best for her condition. So it goes to show that, and this is one of the things that, my philosophy around what I do is, your health is in your own hands. And this young person took her health in her own hands and made some changes, and look at the outcome. It's remarkable what she did. It's not remarkable in the sense, it's no surprise because the body is amazing. But for on average, these, you don't hear these stories because for whatever reason people aren't motivated to try it. Maybe it's because they're told that there's nothing you can do, you're going to be in a wheelchair, here's what you can expect for the rest of your life. So that to me is a real a story of hope and commitment, and proof that you can change. And when you do, the results will speak for themselves, because that's what happened with her and so many other people who, I've had people say, "I can't believe I've been going to the doctor for 6 years with this problem. And 2 weeks after I followed your recommendations, I have no symptoms of what was going on before. These are the things I hear from my clients. They are shocked because, well, some of them are angry because they say, why didn't anybody tell me this before? Why didn't my doctor tell me this before? And so the same with cancer. Those who are who jump in, who change, and then they go for tests because that's the marker we use, and they say that tumor hasn't grown, or that tumor seems to be gone, or the 5-year check, no more cancer. So those are the that's what is so amazing about what I do, is you hear these stories and it just feeds me to keep trying to help people.
Yeah, like we were saying, that the bad things that happen in your life happen for a reason. And for a lot of people, especially I hear this on from our counselor in house, and a lot people say, I haven't felt so good ever in my life. And
Yes.
it was cancer that was my wake up call,
Yeah.
and I came to you and made a life change,
Mhm.
and they feel better than they ever have, despite the fact that they have cancer. Usually, it's the opposite. People feel
Mhm.
worse, or again, they were told they had limited hope and gave up hope, and chose not to fight. So there's so much that goes with it, and in our industry we call it radical remission,
Yes.
when the doctors can't explain why it went away, and
Mhm.
it's a completely different approach
Yeah.
for people mentally. It's they or from the difference between you and an average uh, a doctor. I don't want to say average doctor, but a doctor. Doctors usually treat the symptoms and the problem, and uh,
Not the whole
we
person.
yeah, we try to look for
Yeah.
what's up, what caused that to happen, what can we do to change that, and I'm sure you let people know, on just as we do, is we don't tell people to go against their doctor's advice. We just can't do that. It would be painting a big red target on our back, and we'd be in a lot of trouble for that. But what we do is help people get their bodies in the best possible state to heal itself.
Mhm.
And um, I'm speaking for you also. I'm sorry. um, but yeah, so you're excited about a book, and you're excited about being in a book or helping author a book, 2 books.
Well, I am a published author in a book, and I think I told you about it. It's called Saved by Nutrition. It's I have it right here. It's up there. And anyone who's wondering, this doesn't have any stories of cancer in them, but it's my story. And there's 20, 22 or 23 people like me in the wellness field, who have used nutrition to change the trajectory of their future. And so, I really believe that, and you can get this on my website, JaniceInspiringChange.com. But we put this to Michelle, the one who put this together, Michelle Post, wanted to put this together to show people what can be done. Doesn't matter what the problem is, what the health condition is, that these are true stories of people who have taken it upon themselves to change the outcome of their future. And like I said earlier, our health is in our hands. And I think we should question everything that we are told, and learn as much as possible, and then make a decision.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to know that they have, I'm not going to say options, but something that they can do to be proactive. They don't have to be a victim
Yes, that's
to what's going on. They can actually participate in their healing.
yeah. And
Yeah.
they say, you were talking about cancer and people that are kind of happy that it happened. There is a saying that cancer is a gift, And it's sometimes very, I think some people get angry when they hear that, especially if they've lost a loved one to cancer. But illness is a gift. If we pay attention to what's happening to us, doesn't matter how minuscule or minute the problem may be. When we pay attention to that, that's when we can achieve better health than we ever imagined possible, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. The whole mental and spiritual aspect of it. That's
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. That's all part and parcel to the people that do the opposite and
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
give up.
Yeah.
But if they got the mental part under control, and I think that is it cortisol that happens, the fight or flight
Right. Yeah.
mechanism, and from what I understand is when that's going on, you cannot be in a state of healing.
That's right. And most of us have that high level going all day long. We're dealing with adrenal fatigue. We don't sleep well. We get up, pump ourselves with caffeine all day, and need something to help. Then have alcohol or sleeping pills at night to bring us down some, and we're never out of that state. So the body is just trying to play catch up, and over time it just can't. It just gets so behind. So when we live like that, um, disease will come in. Yeah, that's the body. Disease will come in to say, whoa, hold it, you need to slow down, let's have a look at what you're doing here. But if we don't pay attention to those signs, we're going to miss the boat, and then maybe something more serious will come down the pipes the next year, or whatever it might be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So go ahead and let people know how they can find you if they're listening and not watching and don't see the notes below.
Mm-hmm. So my website is JaniceInspiringChange.com, and you can reach me there. And I'm on Facebook, Janice Inspiring Change. And yeah, you can contact me through my website. That's probably the easiest way to do that. And I offer a free introductory call. So if you're interested in having a conversation about cancer or about anything else, just let me know, and we can connect. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry our time is running out because
Mhm.
we had a great conversation before the call and we could talk for hours, but
Yeah.
we do have to end sometime.
That's right. Maybe I will say, if I have a couple of seconds,
Yeah, yeah,
is
take your time. Go ahead.
yeah, right now on my website, we talked about sugar when we first started, Carl. And so right now I have 15 sugar-free breakfast recipes that you can grab off my website.
Oh, that's great.
So JaniceInspiringChange.com, and go to recipes, and you'll get it there. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to promote or talk about?
No, I
Like
think
you
that's
got the book and
yeah. Well, I have this is available on my website for anyone who is interested in reading it. And for the cancer coaches out there, and maybe someone thinking about it and doesn't really understand, well, cancer coaches would completely understand, but anyone who is kind of confused about the psycho-spiritual connection to illness and disease, I happened upon this book, and I know a few of the coaches on the Facebook have we've talked a little bit about it, but this book is gives a list of the root of illness and disease, which is so complementary to everything Susan was saying in the course. It's very detailed, not just about cancer, but about all, so many. I don't know how many illnesses and diseases are mentioned here, but it's a really good tool for coaches. Yeah, coaches in general.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I love that community so much, the Facebook community, because the coaching program, everything that Susan has taught there or teaches there is from 35 years of being in the field, being in the street, talking with doctors and patients, and And it's evergreen content. It never grows old. The minute you learn it,
Yeah.
it's new to you, but it's tried and true.
Mhm.
But with the community, you're bringing up books like this, and you're elevating the
Mhm.
education level for the coaches that are participating and enjoying
Yeah,
working together in that group. So I like
exactly.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. It helps the algorithms find us. And um, this is Carl Wagner with Be Cancer with Janice Amirault.
Thank you so much.
Miro.
Amiro, yeah, thanks for inviting me to join you, Carl. I really, really appreciate it. It was great.
Thank you too. All right, bye now.
Bye.